Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 3 of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for the second game of the day, which will be contested between Hull and East Yorkshire and Villa Rockets Lions. Let's go through the squads. I'll bring you the table and then the action live here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Doesn't look like Hull and East Yorkshire have yet submitted their squad. See if Villa Rockets have done so. They haven't. Not to worry. I can bring you the league table. You'll see Villa Rockets have picked up some real pace in the Championship. Following a fairly disappointing game week 1, they've just come on leaps and bounds since. Currently in 4th, 2 games in hand on the teams both above and below them in Teesside Steel and Manchester United respectively. So should they go on to win this one, they will go joint on points with Teesside Steel, barring a 6 or 7 goal victory. They would still probably be in 4th due to that unfavourable goal difference, but beyond that they would have an additional game in hand, so they would be able to put a 3-point buffer over their oppositions. They will have the aspirations of that 3rd place playoff, knowing their coaches in Brad Bates and Abby Bolt. So really intriguing to see how the rest of the season shapes up. Yesterday, great day for them. 2 games played, 2 games won, 1-0 victory over Sale United and a 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. But as already mentioned, they had a disappointing, and relatively speaking, they had a disappointing game week 1 where they were only able to get amass 2 points from their 4 games, but since then they have won several and are yet to see defeat. So they'll be hoping to extend that here. Let's just see if the teams have been submitted. They have not. Clear those graphics so you can see the final warm-ups of Hull and East Yorkshire. I can confirm they're comprised of Aston Walls, Kai Gill, Joe Rothery, Emma Hodson, Harrison Smith and Luke Brennan. Villa Rockets on the far side. Their captain Mason Hindley just brought in to have the coin flip. Jeff Lewis just awaiting Villa Rockets, who are keeping Hull and East Yorkshire waiting. Thank you once again to everyone that's tuning in. GWG Knights versus Nottingham Forest on Court B currently live. On Court A, Hull and East Yorkshire ready to take on Villa Rockets Lions. And we are underway. Mason Hindley with the kickoff to go through the squads as they sit. Nearly an immediate goal for Villa Rockets Lions, trying to capitalise on a ricochet. Great early pressure from Naglish Montvillas, the Republic of Ireland international. He's going to try and find the gap between Kai Gill and Aston Walls, two of the starting squad, the rest being Luke Brennan and Joel Rothery. Villa Rockets Lions have Nicky Baker in goal, Mason Hindley in the centre with wingers of Dan Ball and Naglish Montvillas. Montvillas to Mason Hindley, beautiful disguised pass. Likewise from Naglish Montvillas, they're getting their passing going now. That would have been a beautiful finish had it found its way over the line. Down ball to take the resulting kick in. The options on the bench: Hull and East Yorkshire, Harrison Smith and Emma Hodson, Sam Turner and Thomas Marshall for Villa Rockets Lions. As always, anyone that's watching, please get your comments, predictions, thoughts in the YouTube stream. You would have to say that based on current form and momentum, Villa Rockets Lions will be favourites in this one, but Hull and East Yorkshire coming off the back of a very good 1-0 victory over Manchester United. It has to be said that they've shown clear progressions over game weeks 1 and 2. Just a little bit more stability. Their players are gelling as a collective, and don't underestimate the impact of the departure of Cole Simpson. Thank you, Rich, for tuning in. You've been for both games. Tell me what your prediction is for this one. As Naglish Montvillas bypasses Kai Gill, and that is just completely wrong-footed Aston Walls. I'll have to watch it back, but I have to give credit to Naglish Montvillas there. Firstly, dispossessing Kai Gill, and he shaped his chair so beautifully to just confuse Aston Walls. On commentary yesterday, I said on paper he's arguably the best player in the division. Certainly when you're talking about international calibre. Three minutes in, Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Villa Rockets Lions 1. Try and get that scoreline fixed. But exactly the start that Brad Bates would have wanted. But yeah, Naglish Montvillas, this is a player that's competed at multiple World Cups, at multiple European Championships, has been integral to his national side. He travels over from Ireland to compete here in the National League, as does his compatriots in Sean and Thomas Donoghue. It's the beauty of the WFA National League, the fact that it's an appealing prospect and players around the world are trying and wanting to test their ability here. We obviously had Valentino Zegarelli open up that gateway last season, coming in to West Bromwich Albion's team, helping them secure the league and the cup. Mason Hindley into Montvillas, over to Dan Ball. Easy goal for Naglish Montvillas. They're really turning on the style now. You said 2-1, Rich. If they continue on this current trajectory, it's going to be far greater than that. It went via all three attacking players. Mason Hindley to Dan Ball to Naglish Montvillas, who gets his second goal of the game. At the half-time break, I'll try and just see the sort of stats that he has already. Has only been present, it's only his second weekend. Naglish Montvillas wasn't present during game week 1 of the 24-25 Championship, which probably shows his impact even more so when referencing how they struggled, relatively speaking, in game week 1. But since then they have come on leaps and bounds, and it's one of those that if the season was to start now, they would almost certainly be considered as title contenders. The games that I'm really intrigued to watch will be the ones where they contest them against GBG Knights and Muscle Warriors. Aston Walls just experiencing an issue with his chair. Hopefully that can be resolved very quickly. As you can see from that graphic, GBG Knights 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest on Court B, which see them go back top of the table with a more favourable goal difference than Muscle Warriors. Again, worth noting, the two meet one another today at what I believe is 2:10. I'll be calling the action live on that one. Aston Walls looks as if he's fixed his chair, so Naglish Montvillas comes over to take this kick in. Ricochets off Joel Rothery, a rare touch for Luke Brennan. Likewise, Nicky Baker. They've kept the ball in the whole half for the majority of the 7 minutes played, Villa Rockets Lions. Naglish Montvillas looking for his hat-trick. See if we can bring a mini statistic up. Top goal scorers of Villa Rockets Lions. Just trying to see if it will work. Yeah, it does. So as you can see, Naglish Montvillas now with 4 goals, Thomas Marshall with 3, Mason Hindley with 2. So he's already doubled his goal tally in this game alone and all the other games in which he has featured. So playing with real confidence, which is fantastic to see. But a busy day for Villa Rockets Lions. Next up, they face Leeds Dynamos, where based on the form of Leeds Dynamos and the depleted squad, you would expect Villa Rockets Lions to be the favourites, and then they play Muscle Warriors today at 4:15. So I talk about their matchups and seeing Villa Rockets Lions against the top opposition. We're going to see it today at 4:15. It may be a slightly strange dynamic though, because it's coming off the back of Muscle Warriors clash against GBG Knights. So should they be successful in that one, then just as much attention and intrigue will be placed on the fixture against Villa Rockets Lions. But so many talking points wherever you look within this championship division. And just for context, if I hadn't mentioned so on this game already, the championship works on a system that the top 2 are automatically promoted to next season's Premiership. Whoever finishes 3rd will be placed in a one-off playoff fixture against whoever finishes 10th in the Premiership here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre for one single place in the 25-26 Premiership season, the loser of which would stay or be dropped into the Championship. One player I'm really hoping features within this one, impressed me yesterday for Hull and East Yorkshire, is that of Harrison Smith. He's a young, bright prospect that Hull are nurturing in the right way, just acclimatising him to powered share football in the National League. Slowly, but sensibly. But the sky's the limit. He had a very short cameo in their 3-1 defeat to Leeds Dynamos and contributed with some real moments of skill and technique. And although I didn't watch the game in which they won 1-0 against Manchester United, he was the single goal scorer, and I have had many people singing his praises since, so keep an eye out on that. I have no doubt he will feature at some point in this game. Villa Rockets Lions were present in the round 3 draw of the 24-25 Jonker Group WFA Cup, which was conducted yesterday here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Certainly when you're considering other opposition within that southern draw, you have to say that it's probably the best team they could have got in Muscle Warriors. As Naglish Montvillas lines up a shot, just that initial nick off the back of his chair takes it out of his path and means that that rotation isn't connected with. But as I was mentioning, there's three championship teams present in the southern region. So if and where possible, championship teams will want to draw other championship teams to boost their chances of being present at Derby Arena on Sunday, May 11th. In its entirety, starting with the southern region, West Bromwich Albion Throssels, Interclub Derby against West Bromwich Albion. So Throssels against Albion. GBG Knights against Villa Rockets. Aspire versus Sevenoaks, which seems like a foregone conclusion in terms of that being the match-up every year in the third round draw. They seem to draw each other at every possible occasion. And then, as mentioned, Muscle Warriors take on Villa Rockets Lions. In the northern region, as Mason Hindley just trying to create some space on that left-hand wing. Just don't want to miss the action. Patiently playing it off Aston Walls into the box. Luke Brennan trying to cut down ball out the process, who does well, flicks it to Mason Hindley, attempt at goal, blocked by stationary Kai Gill. Very patient play. Something I've observed in Mason Hindley's game, I've referenced it on the Tillman Power Chair Football Podcast, is the maturity that he exhibits, a clear progression from last season. Very cool head. Anyway, but the North region in the round 3 draw of the Jonker Group WFA Cup, clash of the Titans, Teesside versus Greenbank, Leeds Chariots versus Manchester United, Newcastle United Foundation against Leeds Dynamos, and Middlesbrough versus Nottinghamshire. A substitute for Villa Rockets, down ball off, Thomas Marshall on as Naglish Montvillas looking to score a first half hat-trick. Flicked back to Mason Hindley, slightly square, didn't quite have the accuracy. But if he continues this sort of performance, it's almost certain that Naglish Montvillas will find his third goal. It's Mason Hindley into Thomas Marshall, trying to exchange their passes on the edge. Nice work. A chance here for Naglish Montvillas, and there it is. There it is. I think a 2-on-1 was actually awarded before. Just trying to understand the signals of Jeff Lewis. So despite that excellent strike from Naglish Montvillas, and my commentary weaving beautifully into that strike, that would have been his hat-trick, a 2-on-1 infringement is awarded against Villa Rockets Lions, so he's going to have to wait for that hat-trick. Thomas Marshall is going to have an attempt at goal now, and he just finds a way to weave it over the line. It wasn't Naglish Montvillas, but it was Villa Rockets Lions getting the goal. Mason Hindley playing a key role once again in the centre. Thomas Marshall, just a few moments since his introduction to the action, gets the goal. Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Villa Rockets Lions 3. They're really turning on the style now. So, just about 4 minutes left of this first half. Tough opening start to the day for Hull and East Yorkshire. But with the context applied, these are two teams fighting at very different ends of the table. And Villa with some of the best form in the division. Thomas Marshall advancing down the wing. Looking to add another goal to his own tally. Mason Hindley very vocal in the centre, calling for that ball. Naglish Montvillas switches side. Receives possession, strikes, and that is a sensational goal. Found a gap between Kai Gill and that left-hand post. It didn't look like there was a gap there to be found. Just watching it back now, I've said on commentary a few times across the season that there is chances that players seem to find the smallest of gaps. We play with a 33 centimetre diameter ball. That gap would have been 35, 40 centimetres maximum. Once again, Mason Hindley, the provider. Naglish Montvillas with the hat-trick. I said he would get it. I was proved right on that occasion. But it's Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Villa Rockets Lions 4. A Naglish Montvillas hat-trick. Thomas Marshall with the other. I'm pretty sure Mason Hindley has had 3 assists. I think Dan Ball with the other. This one of Villa's most impressive performances so far this season. They've never managed to score more than 2 goals in a single game this season. So they will be delighted with this one. Speak about not scoring more than 2 goals prior to this. They've never conceded more than 2 goals in a single game as well. So it shows, whilst they're not overly prolific in attack, excluding this of course, they're very well drilled defensively. They're going to be tested here. Final 2 minutes. Joel Rothery with an indirect free kick. I believe it to be indirect, but the way in which they're shaping up may be otherwise. They scored a beautiful goal against Leeds Dynamos in this similar fashion, set piece routine. That's disappointing. That real opportunity to get a goal that would probably be nothing more than a consolation, but you have to take them sort of chances. Naglish Montvillas was so well positioned that it took Kai Gill out, but that Joel Rothery just didn't readjust to that change and to that positioning. So a wasted opportunity. I agree, Rich. You may have to revisit your score. You did say to ask again at half time, so you can be forgiven for that. But as already mentioned, this when compared to Villa Rockets Lions' other performances this season, is the anomaly. Scoring 4 goals in a single half. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in a single game prior to this. Joel Rothery looking to make amends for that earlier mistake. Just ticking over into additional time. Thank you once again to everyone tuning in. We put some really nice viewing numbers together this weekend. I think speaks volumes to the quality of football that we have. Mason Hindley into Naglish Montvillas. Weaves past Kai Gill, looking for his fourth. Looking to replicate his opening goal in kind of using a little bit of deception and feint one way to fool Aston Walls. On that occasion, the Hull and East Yorkshire number 12 does brilliantly to prevent the Republic of Ireland international from scoring. Into Mason Hindley. Angles his chair to try and bypass Aston Walls. It gets locked up. Good communication from Mason Hindley just to send Thomas Marshall to the alternate wing, which will allow him the room to advance down into this bottom right hand corner without a 2-on-1 being awarded against them. Very physical presence is Mason Hindley, trying to force his way past Aston Walls. Thomas Marshall now in the centre. They've got really nice fluid understanding, them three attacking players. Naglish Montvillas, with a little bit of height, fires the ball into the side of Aston Walls, who looks a little bit dejected. It's been a grueling 20-minute half. Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Villa Rockets Lions 4. A fantastic performance from Brad Bates' side. Naglish Montvillas with a quick fire double in the first half, scoring in the third and fourth minute. Then Hull settled slightly before Thomas Marshall got his goal following his introduction to the action just a minute or so before. And then after 17 minutes, Naglish Montvillas, with a little bit of history, securing his first National League hat-trick. Thank you to all that are tuning in. I'll be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back. 24-25 Optegra Championship Game week 3, you join myself, Ryan Sibble, for Hull and East Yorkshire versus Villa Rockets Lions. A dominant first half from Villa Rockets Lions. 4 goals to the good. We'll no doubt be looking to extend upon that now. Let me show the live league standings very quickly before we're back underway, because referencing Court B, where GBG Knights look like they've taken a 5-0 victory over Nottingham Forest, you can see what that does. Firstly, for their positioning, puts them back up to first, but gives them, if they score 1 more goal, they will have double the goal difference of Muscle Warriors as their closest challengers. So potentially you could say that they would be favourites for the title, but with the two to meet this afternoon, anything can happen. Villa Rockets Lions will go up onto 21 points. If they score 2 more goals, or 3 potentially, I said it wouldn't happen before the game, which I apologise for, based on the fact that Villa have never scored more than 2 goals this season. They will leapfrog Teesside Steel in the standings, and they will have a game in hand. So this could be a incredible start to the day for Villa Rockets Lions. They will gain that 3rd place position with a game in hand, with a more favourable or matched goal difference than all of the teams around them. I said on commentary yesterday that they are my favourites for that 3rd place position based on form from game week 2 and game week 3, and I'm yet to see another team that could really upset them. That being said, Teesside Steel, for me, have been the team of the weekend. 3 games played, 3 games won, and more favourable opposition today. So if they can come through a 5-game weekend with 5 victories, the race between Teesside Steel and Villa Rockets Lions could be just as intriguing as the one at the top between GBG Knights and Muscle Warriors. Mason Hindley with an attempt at goal, Thomas Marshall with the follow-up. So they're starting the second half as they ended the first on the front foot, putting those Hull and East Yorkshire defenders under pressure. I said in the first half that I hope to see Harrison Smith feature at some point this game. Difficult circumstances for him to come on, but he has done so in the break. He's done so in place of Joel Rothery. Let's bring confirmation of that change now. Be interesting to see if he gets any real involvement, as was the case with Luke Brennan and or Joel Rothery in that first half. They were very isolated. It's an almost impossible task, or is seeming so, to bypass Mason Hindley. He's going to have an attempt on goal here. Doesn't quite have the power and or accuracy to register Villa's 5th goal, but the warning signs continue to be there. Naglish Montvillas with a strike at goal. Hull and East Yorkshire just cannot bypass this high pressing formation of Villa Lions. Their positional play is so good, and their anticipation and reading of the game means that every goal kick seems to be intercepted. So they're going to have to try and change something, switch it up to ensure that these goal kicks don't find the front bumper of a Villa chair. Kai Gill has another opportunity to do so. That time he finds the accuracy to find Aston Walls, but it's just a case of angling it into the path of Mason Hindley. Beautiful pass from Naglish Montvillas. Doesn't quite get the connection, Mason Hindley. Thomas Marshall was waiting in the wings to attack. This will be a grueling second half for them. Marshall into Hindley, back to Marshall, exchanging some really nice short snappy passes over to Naglish Montvillas. First half hat-trick. Nice pass across the box. Slight miscommunication between Thomas Marshall and Mason Hindley. Fortunate to escape a 2-on-1 infringement there. I think signs of frustration of Lee Brennan on the sidelines indicates that. Kai Gill. Over to Naglish Montvillash, an attempt at goal. Just trapped on the goal line. Wide and out for a goal kick. As you can see there, Nottingham Forest nil, GBG Knights 4. So 4-0 score lines on both Court A and Court B. If Naglish Montvillash was to have his way, it would be greater than that. Still so much time left for them to add to the goal tally when we speak about the importance of goal difference. 2 goals would see them match Teesside still on goal difference. 3 goals would see them bypass them in the table to lock on to that 3rd place position. I mean it in the best sense and the best way, but Brad Bates, absolutely relentless, whether he's playing or coaching, wants to win everything and anything possible. Harrison Smith, with his first involvement, is a beautiful pass to Luke Brennan. I hope that just gives you a little bit of an insight into what I've seen in his game, the times I've watched him, very isolated from the play, but when he is drawn into the action, short, snappy, decisive passes which get his team up the court and win his side a kick in. But yeah, back to Brad Bates, relentless, a true competitor that will be looking at that table. He analyses the game, and the objective now will be probably that 3rd place playoff, or barring a faltering from the teams in 1st and 2nd, maybe even automatic promotion, but that the more unlikely of the 2. Harrison Smith into the side of Nikki Baker. You could count on one hand how many touches she's had in the 26 minutes played, which speaks to the role that Mason Hindley is performing in the centre. Next up on Court A, I will be calling the action of Manchester City versus Sale United. Really looking forward to that one. Sale United, one of my favourite teams to watch in the division. Naglish Montvillash and Mason Hindley just having a discussion. Fired down to the recently introduced Sam Turner. Mason Hindley's going to line up a shot, just deflected out of play by Luke Brennan. Just bring confirmation of that substitute. But corner ball for Villa Lions. Mason Hindley presenting an option down the wing, which Montvillas opts to find. And that ball is just going to trickle in the inside the post. That is one of the easiest goals Villa Lions are ever likely to score. There was no power really on that, but Aston Walls just couldn't adjust to prevent it. So Mason Hindley, provider turned scorer, and vice versa. Naglish Montvillas with the assist. Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Villa Rockets Lions 5. goal is no less than Mason Hindley deserves. He's been sensational in that centre. And look at that beautiful angled pass out to Naglish Montvillas. He was in reverse, Mason Hindley, but it's almost a telepathic understanding, knowing that Naglish Montvillas would be advancing down that line. I've just watched it back on my computer. Not once did he glance up to see where Naglish Montvillas was. He just knows the experience and the ability of his teammate. He will be in the right place to receive a ball. This current scoreline puts Villa 1 goal away from matching Teesside still above them on +10 for the season. Mason Hindley intercepts down to Sam Turner, back to Hindley on the edge. This is some of the best football I've seen in the Championship all season. Trying to squeeze the ball out to Sam Turner once again. They keep the ball live. Nice disguised intention from Naglish Montvillas. Wins his side. A kick in. Very high on the left-hand wing. 10 minutes to go. Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Villa Lions 5. Montvillas into the box, blocked initially by Luke Brennan, out for another corner ball. Montvillas to take into Mason Hindley. He's going to line up a shot, ricochets off the left hand post. Another attempt is defended by Hull and East Yorkshire. Cleared by Kai Gill. Well positioned by Luke Brennan to cut Montvillas out of that initial attack. He has possession now on the right hand wing as you're viewing it. The ricochet nearly finds a way in that inside post. He's going to try and push it over the line. Not overly clear where the ball is. It's in my blind spot, but it's just rolled out for a corner ball. Substitute, double substitute for Hull and East Yorkshire. We'll see Emma Hodson enter the action for the first time this game in place of Harrison Smith. Also Luke Brennan off, Joel Rothery back on. Straight in to defend this Naglish Montvillas corner into Mason Hindley. Certainly a more attacking approach from Hull and East Yorkshire now. They're committing Emma Hodson and Joel Rothery up the court. The goal for them will be nothing more than a consolation at this stage. It's probably safe to say there's no reason why they can't have a late rally to try and pick up morale. Montvillas into the side of Aston Walls. It's 5-0 here. It's 6-0 on Court B. 11 goals across the two courts. That's also live on the WFA's YouTube. Worth factoring in to the context that this is a different approach for Hull and East Yorkshire. They're experimenting, they're trialling different players in different positions, most notably Aston Walls. This is the first weekend, certainly for me, I've ever seen him feature as the goalkeeper for his side. Kai Gill, slightly more familiar with the centre role, but of seasons of late have seen him feature either in goal or out wide. Joel Rothery, another who's predominantly been the goalkeeper for Hull and East Yorkshire, out wide attacking. So they're switching things up, and it's a transitional season. There's no question that they're acclimatised into life without Cole Simpson, who's now playing his football at Newcastle United Foundation, and they're trying to integrate some young talent, Harrison Smith and Callum Jefferson, the two most notable. So without any real jeopardy spots in the Championship, and of course there is an element of jeopardy, so if they finish in the bottom two positions, there is a chance they'll be drawn into a playoff fixture against a regional team that states a preference to want to compete in the National League. But beyond that, I think they'll just take the learning from this season, the positives, the negatives, and factor that into planning for next season. The more experience their young players can get, the more acclimatised players like Aston Walls gets for his position in goal, the better they'll be. There was clear progressions yesterday, one win, one loss, but sometimes the stats and the table and the results don't paint the full picture. Unfortunately, in this one, it probably does. Villa Lions have been prolific. They have been dominant. And I think that's how you have to focus your perspective in. This isn't a bad Hull and East Yorkshire performance. This is an exceptional Villa performance. Sam Turner looking to add to the tally, as is Dan Ball, who's come on in place of Naglish Montvillas. What a game for that man. 3 goals and an assist. No doubt this the highlight of his time playing here in England. Hopefully the first of many considerable moments and matches. Late pressure, 3.5 minutes to go. Out to Dan Ball. To Mason Hindley. Back to Ball on the right hand wing. Sam Turner driving onto that, trying to use his front bumper to guide it goal bound. He just misses it. And Mason Hindley lines up a shot, goes to Dan Ball, over across the box. Once again, Sam Turner millimetres away from making contact. Whilst he'll be frustrated he was unable to capitalise, he puts himself in some fantastic areas, and if he continues to do so across this season, he'll get several goals, because it's just a timing issue. It's not a technique, it's not a positional thing. And he's acclimatising to life with a new team, formerly of Sale United. And not just that, he's a player adapting to a different position. Certainly the majority of times I've watched Sam, he's been performing or utilised as a goalkeeper, so a stark opposite to being an attacking wide winger, he's got the responsibility of trying to score once again. So close to scoring. Kai Gill just about angled that ricochet out of danger. But the positions that Sam Turner puts himself in is proving a real difficult thing for Hull to adjust to. Minute and a half to go. Just to talk through the rationale of my player of the match. Two considerations. That's to do no other players discredit for the roles in which they've performed. Of course, you can look at the roles of Mason Hindley and Naglish Montvillas, Naglish Montvillas making history, hat-trick, a brilliant hat-trick at that. Such a technically proficient player that could easily feature for any number of Premiership teams. He's that calibre of player. I hope he continues to play his football with Villa Rockets Lions. I'm not trying to say that they are below him, but he's just a sensational player, and to watch him in the Championship is a joy. And Mason Hindley has been pulling the strings from the first whistle to what will soon be the last. Several assists, not just that, he's prevented anything really threatening Nicky Baker in the Villa Lions goal. So it would be a toss-up between the two. You can look at the goals, you can look at the technique, or you can look at just the commanding presence and the technique of Mason Hindley. Regulation 20 played. Any additional time now is probably going to end 5-0, which means that Villa will still sit one position below Teesside as they have a more favourable goal difference, but a game in hand for Villa, which will be played today. A fantastic game. Commiserations to Hull, as mentioned, a season where they're acclimatising to a number of factors. But Villa, just sensational. Their best game of the season, without question. And they'll be looking to build upon that in fixtures this afternoon, where they face Leeds Dynamos and Muscle Warriors. A really tough day for them. So if they can come out with 6, 7, potentially even 9 points, you have to say that they will be favourites for that third place position. Let me show you the league table quickly before I reset. Ahead of the next game, you will see that Villa Lions, 11 games played, 6 games won. They have 21 points, goals for 11, goals against 10. They're really, goals for 6, goals for 15, goals against 6. So they're starting to really find their form in front of net. But it's such an amazing season, it goes without saying. GBG Knights with an impressive win on Court B over Nottingham Forest sees them once again match Muscle Warriors in terms of games played, won, drawn, lost, but a incredible goal difference of now plus 53. I just want to look very quickly at the final score of GBG Knights versus Nottingham Forest, because that is emphatic. 8-0 it finished. So it's safe to say if Muscle Warriors are to be crowned champions at the conclusion of game week 5, they're going to have to do so by bettering GBG Knights on points. Thank you to all that have tuned in to me for this one. I'll be back very shortly on Court A for Manchester City versus Sale United.